Hey everyone, and welcome back or welcome to the channel. We are back here to take a look at the Chevrolet Colorado Trail Boss. In my last video for the Colorado, we checked out the Z71 and I made a few comments about the Trail Boss, and I figured, you know what, we have to do a proper review. We have to go over everything this model has to offer, so that way you can compare and contrast to see what pickup is right for you. In today's video, we're going to check out what the Trail Boss has to offer. We're going to check out the exterior, the interior, take it out for a very quick test drive, and see why, if you're looking for a purpose-built pickup, a pickup truck that's going to give you the off-road ground clearance, the capability and versatility, while also the ruggedness to the exterior, then maybe taking a look at the Trail Boss over the Z71 might be a great decision. Now, before we get in this video, I want to give a huge shout and thank you to Copeland Chevrolet here in Hudson, Massachusetts for letting me come down here to check out the Trail Boss. Their link will be in the description below, so you can check out their extensive Chevrolet inventory. So as always, let's begin with that pricing. For the 2025 Chevrolet Colorado Trail Boss we have today, you're looking at a starting cost of just over $41,500, which if you do go with optional packages and equipment, you'll be spending close to 46 grand, very similar to that Z71. However, there are so many differences mechanically and aesthetically between the Trail Boss and Z71 that I don't think there's any overlapping, nor do I think there's redundancy in the lineup. First and foremost, with the Trail Boss moniker, you can kind of tell this is going to be a rugged and capable pickup truck, and obviously it should be the boss of trails. Now let's get into the aesthetics though, because that is going to be one of the highlights for this model. Up front, you are going to have halogen headlamps. That is right. I'm a bit perplexed by that, because with the Z71, LED lighting is standard and you get LED fog lights, and with the LT it's also available, whereas with the Trail Boss that just isn't the case. And you would think that for a pickup truck designed to take on the off-road and dimly lit back roads that you would have that feature, but that just sadly isn't going to be available for 2025. Maybe you'll have to go in the aftermarket direction for those bigger lights. Now you are going to have the cladding for that front grille, which is a major difference compared to the Z71 with the gloss gray, gloss black look, giving you a sportier and sleeker appearance. But if you are someone taking on the elements, this will deflect the dirt and debris you will be encountering. For the lower portion of the front bumper, you're going to have some gloss gray accents, giving you a two-tone look up front. And then sadly, and this is why the Z71 I think is a cooler looking pickup, is that you are going to have the tow hook mounts in black, whereas with the Z71 it will be in red. But as you can tell from the front fascia, you have the wider fender flares, giving you a sinister and rugged appearance. So right off the bat, it is making a great first impression. Then as you make your way over the side profile, this is where there's a number of features that just get tacked on to this trim that not only sets it apart from the Z71, but could most certainly be one of the most rugged pickups at its price point. So first off, you are going to have the off-road suspension, giving you a 2-inch lift, resulting in a ground clearance of 9.5 inches. At just over $41,000, this might be the pick in any market under $50,000, comparing this to its closest rivals from Toyota, from Ford, from Nissan. And if you're someone who needs that capability and versatility, that ground clearance is going to be a huge help for sure. And then when we get to tire size here, at least initially, nothing seems too different, because with the Trail Boss, you are going to have 18-inch alloy wheels in a gloss black finish, and they're going to be 265/65s, identical to the Z71. However, our model has the optional 20s, giving us 275/60s, and right then and there, you're going to notice the ride quality will be a bit different, more road noise, and that's going to be a better experience for the off-road. But just keep all of that in mind. That difference is going to be most certainly noticeable compared to that Z71. Then as you make your way around to the back, the only thing of note here is the fact you're not going to have LED tail lamps. Everything else does carry over from other trims, such as your side steps here on the rear bumper. But aside from that, this is still going to be one good looking pickup. I just hope and wish that in the future, Chevrolet gives us LED lighting throughout all trims for future model years. And while we're back here, let's lower that tailgate and see what we have here in the bed of this Colorado. You are going to have a spray-in bed liner. So right here, it is ready to go for all your adventures. Now, you are going to have a payload capacity of 1,500 pounds, and you're going to have a towing capacity of 7,700. When it comes back to pricing, and when you're comparing this to an LT, the Trail Boss is most certainly a no-brainer. Powering the Chevrolet Colorado Trail Boss for 2025 is going to be a 2.7-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine, also known as the Turbo Max. Producing 310 horsepower and 430 pound-feet of torque, it is paired with an 8-speed automatic transmission. This power output and transmission is a great pairing, even though for the Trail Boss, along with that ZR2, it is begging for a V6, but this is the direction most manufacturers are going in, sadly, in the 2020s. If you're someone looking for a quick pickup, this is exactly what you're going to be looking for. Now, we are going to talk about later on during the test drive how this suspension and wider tires are going to affect the ride quality and also its handling, but what you have here under the hood I think is more than adequate for a midsize pickup in the 2020s. But probably more importantly is going to be that fuel economy, which a lot of you have probably already factored into the equation, giving you 17 miles per gallon in the city and 21 miles per gallon on the highway. We also have 4-wheel drive for our model, giving us better year-end capability and versatility for those of us living up here in New England. Hopping inside the Chevrolet Colorado Trail Boss for 2025, initially you are going to receive manually adjustable cloth seats for both the driver and passenger. In more ways than one, the Trail Boss kind of feels like an LT, except it's more capable and rugged, matching what you have with the Z71 and ZR2. It's all going to come down to pricing, really, which sets a tone for this vehicle, because as you can tell on the dashboard, door panels, and center console, hard to touch plastics here, which is perfect if you are tracking in dirt, snow, and mud throughout the year. But if you're someone looking for an upscale experience, you don't want to spend over $45,000, you don't want to spend close to 50 grand for your next Colorado, well, you're in luck with a Trail Boss. There is one optional package which I think is a must-have. Let's go over it. So for $2,425 for the Trail Boss Convenience Package 2, you are going to have an 8-way power adjustable driver's seat with power lumbar support, remote start, wireless phone charging, heated front seats, a heated leather-wrapped steering wheel, and also Evotex upholstery, which this alone is the game changer. The Evotex upholstery does feel quite premium. It is found in the Z71, and the cushioning and support is really top-notch here. If you are going off-road, I think you're going to find these seats more than adequate, but then also on those longer road trips when you're towing a small boat, I think you're going to find yourself rather comfortable even 3-4 hours being behind the wheel. This is the happy medium in the lineup, and also comparing it to a ZR2, it's so much more affordable. So this might actually be the perfect setup for a lot of you looking for a rugged pickup in this market. Like I mentioned before, in front of you will be that leather-wrapped steering wheel, which feels really nice in the hands. No aggressive 10 and 2 or firm 9 and 3 grips. Also, no paddle shifters to rotate the gears yourself. Now, on the steering wheel will be buttons that will help you control your full digital gauge cluster in front of you and help you scroll through a number of different layouts. You can scroll through a variety of information and also have your Google Map display from this screen as well. We've gone over this numerous times in recent months with the Z71 and also the LT, so I'm not going to bore you today if you are joining me from those two reviews. But one thing I do like, though, is that for a vehicle in this market, the technology is rather immersive and shows you all the key essential information that you're looking for on a daily basis. Now, as you take a look at the infotainment system, you are going to have Google-based software with a Google Assistant, Google Play Store, Amazon Alexa, Apple CarPlay, and Android Auto. But for me, the one thing of note here is the fact you will have physical buttons and dials for your dual zone climate control, AC, front and rear defrosters, fan speed, and fan direction. So many manufacturers in this market and other segments would place these features on the screen itself. I am so glad that Chevrolet is still giving us a tactile and analog experience here. From the screen, you can have all your widgets in place and well within arm's reach. On the left side of the screen will be quick access icons, which will get you to different menus efficiently, such as your Bluetooth connectivity, your Google Map display, your radio. Also, you will have a smaller display here for your Google Maps, and then some other information such as your Google Assistant trailering and chip information. And then lastly will be your home screen. Now, better yet, though, with the Trail Boss, you will have a drive mode selector, and that is one thing you did not get on the LT. So from here, you can go through normal, off-road, tow and haul, terrain, and then back to normal. This is going to give you a lot of capability when you are taking on different types of elements here. Also, one thing that is going to be of note here, yes, you are going to have your off-road statistics with your Baja terrain and overlanding, But there's also an air down mode, which will deflate your tires, all 4 tires, which is rather interesting. We're not going to do that today because this is not my vehicle, but if you are someone taking on some deep sand or deep snow, I mean, this is going to be exactly what you're looking for. So that's actually really cool here with the Colorado Trail Boss. When you place the Trail Boss in reverse, you are going to have a rear backup camera with trajectory. Also a good amount of visibility here as well. You're going to have your trailer hitch cam as well, so when you are towing a boat or RV, you can do so very safely. But then this also leads me to another package which we don't have equipped on our model, but is available once you go with that convenience package. Basically, for $1,000, you can receive an AC surround view vision, giving you better camera angles and more visibility, adaptive cruise control, rear pedestrian alert, and then also the Bose premium audio system, which would pair up very well with this infotainment system. That isn't necessarily a must-have, it's more of a tack-on and add-on, but I think that if you're someone looking for an immersive experience and the most value out of this trim, you might want to go with all options for 2025. As you continue on towards the center console, you will find another row of buttons here for your auto start stop, your hazards, and lane centering. You have a USB-C and USB-A outlet, also that wireless phone charging pad. Then for the center console itself, you're going to have your traditional gear shifter here, flanked by gloss black trim. You're going to have your drive mode selector, also 2 high, 4 low, and auto. Next to that will be your electronic parking brake, then 2 cup holders. And then finally for the center storage compartment, it is rather deep, where you could probably store some smaller water bottles, maybe a couple wallets, smartphones, or other tech gadgets, and there will be a tray for some loose change or maybe even a wallet or two. And then quickly taking a look at the second row, you're looking at right on 35 inches of legroom, which is going to be seen across all trims for 2025. Nothing's really different here compared to the Z71, aside from amenities and creature comforts, because with our model, we have the EvoTex upholstery, which does feel quite nice. Like I said, with the Z71, I don't really know if we're going to be squeezing in a third person in the center. The Silverado might be a better choice for you. Also, headroom-wise, it might be a bit more cramped compared to a Silverado. So keep all of this in mind. Now, back here, you will have 2 cup holders on the center console, 2 center-mounted air vents. Interestingly enough, though, no USB-C or 12-volt outlet. And lastly, you're not going to have a center armrest with 2 cup holders. I am actually really surprised by that. Ultimately, with the Trail Boss trim, it is going to be the off-road suspension, 2-inch lift, and wider tires that will define this pickup in the lineup, aside from the ZR2. Because when you factor in pricing, and then also take in consideration that it slots between both the LT and the Z71, it doesn't ride like either one of those models. The LT, yes, is a bit more of a work truck, and then the Z71 is somewhat luxurious, and I'm using that term very lightly here. Yes, the Z71 has an off-road tuned suspension, but it's not going to be abusive. It's not going to be immediately known to you that the Z71 can take on the elements. Whereas with the Trail Boss trim, you don't need to drive very far to realize just how capable of a pickup truck this really is. You feel it with the firmness with the steering input. You feel it with the firmness with the suspension. And this is going to be a fantastic choice if you like what the ZR2 is offering, but you can't go all out for that ZR2. Your budget isn't going to allow it. Yes, the Trail Boss has a rugged experience. Yes, it's going to miss out on some features compared to a Z71. But I think this is a purpose-built pickup. That yes, it is still niche, but purpose-built for buyers looking for something quite like this. Because the towing capacity is far and away better than what you're going to find out of the LT. And you are going to have the capability to take on any type of terrain. This is going to be a great work truck if you are out in the farms, or maybe you're just looking for a vehicle that can pretty much do it all throughout the year. And that, yes, you are going to be paying a little extra for some optional packages to get the same type of comfort for the interior like you are going to find with the Z71, but it might be totally worth it. What I do find quite appealing here with this trim, despite the fact that this wouldn't be my particular taste in the mid-size pickup truck market, is the fact that it feels so rugged and that it does feel like an authentic pickup truck. Because a lot of mid-size pickups in this market can feel a bit more soft. To some degree, they feel like they're lacking in a way to the ruggedness and the aggressiveness that these pickups should be offering, especially now that most of these pickups no longer have a V6 under the hood. And the Trail Boss is kind of like that happy medium or a good compromise for this generation. And then lastly, to point out the obvious differences here between the Trail Boss and Z71, if you are comparing both models virtually, is that with the 2-inch lift to the suspension, you most certainly feel it. It feels Silverado-like without losing the dimensions of the Colorado, which a lot of you might actually like here. And then 2, with the wider tires, you have a lot more road noise entering the cabin. But these are things a lot of you are probably expecting walking into the Trail Boss for the first time. But really though, I do like what this pickup truck is offering. I think it's a great value when you factor in its pricing and the fact that it comes in at around $45,000 for the model we have today. So it might be a great choice for a lot of you looking for a year-round capable pickup. But maybe for some of you, the Z71 might be the better choice. But I think either way, you can't lose. It just comes down to what you need out of your next midsize pickup. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this quick review for the 2025 Chevrolet Colorado Trail Boss. If you did, please like, comment, share, and subscribe for more. And I will see you guys next time.